an adventure photographer pretty much. I'm always seeking new adventures and taking the photos as I go and sharing it with people on Instagram and Tumblr and multiple different sites. It's been a long process getting to where I'm at right now. Like in college, I decided that I wanted to go into photography, and that's kind of where I really got a passion for photography. And I was always doing work on the side, aside from photography, to kind of support like traveling and going to see new things. And like I just found out that like my passion was to just live an adventurous life and take the photos of the people that I'm like meeting and sharing these adventures with, and hopefully like encourage other people to do the same. So I went out to Colorado to hang out, and that's where I got my taste of like being out in like nature, being out in mountains and living around in that environment was amazing. And then came back to Ohio, and it was like completely refreshed being back in Ohio and being able to see Ohio in a whole different way, because I'd been there my whole life and it was kind of boring. And then coming back, it gave me new eyes to like kind of see places like this. I was a photographer well before Instagram, and so when it came about, it was like I just started putting some of my past photos on, and I didn't really get much of a response. It was just another photo. Over time, as I started to like have more adventures and photograph things, like people started to relate to the adventures themselves other than just the photos. After spending a year in Ohio, I like got a job out in California at Yosemite National Park. That's pretty much where everything started, where going into Yosemite, I had a decent amount of following where people liked seeing my photos, but Yosemite was like a whole new thing. People really responded to the photos and like the stuff that I was seeing and the adventures I was having. Instagram was like a really good way for me to find people that had the same interest and were like searching out like cool places to explore and photograph and just basically experience like during their free time. So I began to just get involved with Instagram, share my photos. People seemed to like them, and I was inspired by other people's photographs as well. It's definitely the stories behind, like the stories behind the photos are what make it. And I think that's how like the best images are made often, is when people are experiencing it for themselves instead of just going out to find an appealing photo. I do want to have meaning behind my photos, like something that people come back to and can relate to the story itself. So when it comes to like sharing my photos, I always try to put text that support how I was feeling, that give like the photo more meaning. It's like that's the cool thing about Instagram, is that there's people that just will make a beautiful, like a cornfield amazing, and just will see it in a different way. And there's some photos that I've taken that people are just think are beautiful, and they're like, that's amazing. But if they were to be driving by it in a car, they'd be like, this is really boring. And it just takes like you have to take the time to actually see it and be open-minded to experience it. Like one of my favorite authors, Donald Miller, always says like sometimes you need to see someone love something before you can love it yourself. And that's what it takes around here. Sometimes it's like a community to like find people who are already going out and enjoying, like they don't have to drive up to Michigan or drive to a different state or to southern Ohio, that they can find adventure right here in Northwest Ohio and right in their backyard. A lot of people don't know what REI is out here. I kind of joke around and say they're like the non-redneck version of a Cabela's or a Bass Pro Shop. It's just like backpacking and kayaks and different things like that. One of the people that ran their social media was like a fan of like what I was doing. So then when the opportunity came up and they needed someone to get them content, they thought of me, and that's how they contacted me. Social media in general, I mean, it's so much more than just a website or an app. It's like a tool to share who you are and what you're doing and to interact with other people. And over time you build like a community of friends, not only on like the app itself or the social media itself, but you can meet them in person, and a lot of times I end up becoming really good friends with people I've met through social media. I want to be a communicator, just like a writer, a videographer, not just like capturing a beautiful photo, but like communicating with people. Like a camera's been my best tool for that, and Instagram has been the best like way of getting it out there, so that's why I've been using that. Hey, my name is Trevor Lee, and I'm an adventure photographer, and you can find my work on Instagram under Trev Lee.